Hello, everyone, and welcome to the .NET Core podcast, the only podcast which is devoted to .NET Core, ASP.NET Core, EF Core. Oh, hang on, this isn't a podcast, this is a video. That's ever so slightly embarrassing. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is the fact that the podcast itself is coming up on its 1 year anniversary. Can you even imagine that? I know I couldn't imagine that when I started it. It was very... Back when I started it, it was just a sort of full-on hope. I thought I'd start a podcast, talk about .NET Core, and that would be it. But essentially, it's starting to go places. By that, I mean it's been around for a year. So I'm going to talk in this video a little bit about what we're going to do to celebrate that, because we're at 1 year. We've got some things to give away, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So you'll have to wait until after I've talked about what I'm going to talk about, or I suppose you could just sort of scrub through the video. But what I want to talk about first is supporting the show. So I'm not going to talk about Patreon. I'm not going to talk about Buy Me a Coffee. I'm not going to talk any of those things. I'm going to talk ratings and reviews. So if you didn't know, podcasts survive entirely on ratings and reviews. There's a really long-winded reason as to why and what that all means. And if you want to find out, just head on over to .netcore.show/review, which will give you this page. Pointing in the wrong direction, this page. And that talks through why you should leave a review, how you can leave a review. It talks about the kinds of things that you can do, the reasons why essentially the TLDR is podcatcher services recommend shows based on ratings. The more listeners that a show has, the more episodes it can have, the more editing that I have to do, but the more content you guys get, so that you all get, that everyone gets, that every person who listens to the show gets. So that's good. So what I'll say is totally check out this link. It's over there. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. I used to have the camera on the other side. I don't know whether you noticed. But definitely check that out. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. And there's even some links to services where you can leave reviews. The show is on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podchaser, and YouTube. That's those four logos. Top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, in that order, and the all of those accept reviews from listeners, so definitely check those out. Okay, so so that's essentially how you can support the show. If you don't know how to subscribe to the show, then you can totally just head on to .netcore.show/subscribe, and if you scroll through that page, each one of these buttons is a link to a place where you can subscribe to the show, so you should definitely check that out. And there's even a web page listener there built into the page, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can listen to all of the episodes, all of them. You can tell when I've been recording this. Developer Relations is the latest episode that's come out. Or if you just want the RSS feed, you can click on that little icon and it'll show you the RSS feed, which is wonderful but useless to most people, especially if you're reading it. So let's close that tab. But you can put that into VLC, Gpodder, Outlook, any kind of RSS reader, and it will pull down the episodes. So that's pretty cool. So that's that bit out of the way. Whoops, I've just given some... no, that's fine. So that's that bit out of the way. But what I want to say to you today is that in a way of... how do I put this? How do I put this the best way? I'm really excited that the show has been around for a year, and I want to give you all something for that. I can't just give you something. I wish that I could. But, marketing people that I've spoken to said, you got to give something away as part of a competition, as part of a raffle. So essentially that's what I'm going to do. But what am I giving away? Well, I've been in communication with JetBrains, and yeah, I'll come on to the other person in a second, but I've been in communication with JetBrains. I'm not giving away full licenses, but I am giving away extended... extended trial codes. So I better talk about what that's for. Actually, I'm not going to give you extended trial codes for everything, but essentially if you head on over to if you go into Google and search for JetBrains Rider, or you have a look at any of the articles I've written about Rider, I'll put the links in wherever I upload this, descriptions somewhere. But essentially I love using Rider. It's what I've used for all of my videos so far, minus one, I think, and it's brilliant. It's a wonderful C#.NET IDE, but it's cross-platform. It's made by the JetBrains people. If you don't know who JetBrains are, if you've used IntelliJ or anything like that, it's essentially the same thing. If you use ReSharper, it's their IDE. So definitely check that out. Essentially, I'm giving away a code that will get you usually get 3 months to try it out. The code that I have that I can give away is a 6-month trial code, so you get to try it for 6 months, see what you think. Essentially, it lets you do .NET, .NET Core, Xamarin, all that kind of stuff on Windows, Mac, Linux, and Linux. But I mean Linux. So if you've got a Debian-based machine or an Arch-based machine or I believe Fedora, I'm not sure, but it works on the Linuxes in the same way that .NET Core works on the Linuxes. Anywhere the .NET Core is supported, I think JetBrains is supported. Don't quote me on that. Somebody's going to quote me on that, but that's not the problem. So that's pretty cool. So we've got that. If you're at all wondering what this text is, I'm trying to do a line here. I can't. There we go. If you're at all wondering what the text in the background is here, essentially, when in the show, I actually say .NET New Podcast, and I actually have automated the setup of the podcast. So you can go to my GitHub and pull down the repo for my .NET Core CLI tools and my .NET Core templates, and .NET New Podcast is actually a template. And if you install it and run .NET New Podcast -help, you will get the text that's in the background there. That's how I'm sort of speeding up production of the show. Anyway, so who else have I partnered with? Well, we've got JetBrains, which is brilliant. We've got some 6-month codes to give out. As far as I'm aware, they're ready to go. But also, I literally just finalized this today, and today is July 24th, 2019. So I literally just finalized this today, and what I finalized was essentially music to flow by. If you don't know what music to flow by is, you'll have probably heard of Carl Franklin. As you can see on the screen there, it says Carl Franklin, right? If you don't know offhand who Carl Franklin is essentially .NET Rocks guy. He's one of the 2 hosts of .NET Rocks. He also does Keto Fest and a whole bunch of other stuff. 2 Keto Dudes is one of his podcasts. But essentially, Music to Flow By is a productivity tool. It's not music for entertainment. You put the music on and it's scientifically designed to help you reach maximum productivity. It's really complex how it works, but you can go to musictoflowby.com and scroll through the thing and it will tell you what it's for. But yeah, the idea is that it's supposed to get you to a state where you are really productive. What this means for you, the fans of the show, is I have a number of licenses for Music to Flow By to give away. That gets you 6 months of Music to Flow By, which is amazing. So Music to Flow By, if you go to the website, I wonder if this will work. Yes, it will. It's essentially a bunch of tracks, and you get, if you are a free user, you get the, as far as I can tell, you get the latest one for free, but you don't get access to the previous ones. So obviously with this code I'm going to give away, you get access to those. So that's brilliant. So you'll get access to the full library of Music to Flow By stuff. So how do you get it? Right? Real simple. I've been racking my brains as to how we can do this, because there's loads of different people who do giveaways and they're always sign up to this, click on this button, fill in this survey. I'm going to do some of that, but not all of it. Essentially, and you'll have to bear with me because I'm reading my rules from the screen here, so apologies for that. But essentially, the TLDR is follow the show on Twitter. So that's .NETCore.show. You can see it on the screen there. Hey, there you go. Or I'll just bring it up in my browser and then switch to it. Or, whoops, .NETCore.show, right? I'm not logged in because I'm using a private browser. But follow the show on Twitter. Step 1. Sorted. If you already follow the show, skip through to step 2. Step 2 is send me a tweet or tweet about the show. Say something wonderful. Hopefully, you can write whatever you want, but I'd prefer a positive sentiment. Write something about the show with the hashtag .NETCoreShow. That's all. So following the show on Twitter gets you 1 entry. Tweet to link to the show or something good about the show with hashtag .NETCoreShow gets you 2 entries. If you want to, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. So I'll just go get that open over here. No, I won't get that open over here. What you can do is to connect with me on Twitter, on LinkedIn. If you go to about.me, which is one of the links in the footer, there's a LinkedIn button there. Just click that button and it will take you straight through to my page. Connect with me on there so that I can learn more about you. I am going to be reaching out to listeners of the show specifically through LinkedIn just to find out more about you on a personal level, one-to-one, what the show can, how the show could be better, all that kind of stuff. What kind of things you're looking for in the show so that I can tailor it a little better. You can also, that gets you 3 entries. And then if you subscribe on YouTube, so I'm going to click this button here and hopefully it won't take over my audio. If you go through to the YouTube channel, go through to the YouTube channel and subscribe to that. I just have to turn my speaker off. That's my speaker right there. Just have to turn that off. If you head over to YouTube and subscribe to those videos, then that will get you another entry. That's 4 entries, okay? Usually what you'll find on here is every single episode gets uploaded to YouTube, but also when I have the chance, I do live streaming on there. So you can click through and see, let's have a look. So we've got some live coding here. Whoops. Let me go to, let me go to view full playlist. That's going to start playing. You can see where I've been building some apps in the open. And I have, I started making an app that allows you to do all sorts of stuff. But when I get back around to doing more stuff, I will upload those there. I'm not going to talk about Patreon. I'm not going to talk about buy me a coffee, because those things, whilst they're good, it doesn't really engage you. So that's what I want to do. I want to get engaged with you, and connecting with me on those places will help you. One of the other things is the newsletter. So let me just do this. So if you go back to the website and then you click on mailing list, that will load up the mailing list. I can put all these links in the description wherever I upload this. But essentially, the mailing list gets you another entry. If you're already on the mailing list, send out a tweet that says, I'm already on the mailing list with the hashtag .NETCoreShow, and let me know that you're already on the mailing list. That gets you, if you do all of those, it gives you 7 entries, right? Oh, the mailing list you could totally read without subscribing, but I'd prefer it if you did. You could even subscribe via RSS, which gets you all of the newsletter items, again, in your Outlook or any other RSS feeder, Feedly, that kind of thing. But yes, let me just switch back to here. So do all of those things and you'll get 7 entries. You get a bonus entry if you're already a Patreon. So if you're on the Patreon, I wonder if I can load that up whilst I'm here. So if I go like this and I go scroll back up through here, and then I go patron. Oops. I go to the patrons page. If you sign up to be a patron, you get a list. You join the list in order of when you subscribed. So I currently have 3 subscribers. Click on the become a patron. You get an extra entry, but that's the lowest level. You don't have to do that. Patrons are already have 1 entry. Everyone who's followed on the Twitter already has an entry. Everyone who's in the mailing list already has an entry. So if you are one of those 3 or all 3 of those 3, you already have 3 entries. Now, unlike other systems where they say, hey, join the mailing list, click this button, share on Facebook, share on Twitter, share on those are actually designed to get you to do all of those things. I completely understand that not everyone's going to do all of those things. So the entries thing is mainly a misnomer. Essentially, I'm going to have a big file with everyone who's done everything, and I'm going to have an app that runs through that file and picks some winners. The more times you're in that file, obviously, the higher chance you have of winning something, but you don't have to do them all. I'm going to use the code that I've written. I wonder whether I can bring it up. I'm going to use the code that I've written for the raffle ID generator, which you can view if I can get there. Just need to do this. So if you head over to my GitHub, when it loads, it's not loading, it's taking a while. There we go. So if you head over to GitHub and go to repositories and you look at, let's do a search for raffle ID generator. This is the code I'm going to use. Essentially, this takes in, you give it the number of people. So if there are 100 entries, I type in 100 and it picks out 5 winners based on a random number generator that calls another random number generator that calls another random number generator that does some stuff with time. So you could totally read the code if you want. I'm going to be making changes to it over the next few days to make it more random. Now the problem with obviously random is it's not random, because it's deterministic. All programs are deterministic. I might see, because I'm on a Unix based system, I'm actually recording with my Linux machine, I might see if I can tie in to /dev/random, which is a wonderful thing provided by Unix that allows you to capture random numbers based on the time since midnight, the amount of times the mouse has been moved, keys that have been pressed, all that kind of stuff. Might be able to tie it into that, but that will make it platform specific, so the code won't run on Windows. But I'll see what I can do. I'm sure there's a way to capture similar data for Windows. But that's essentially it. Rules for the contest, competition, raffle, whatever you want to call it. I'm not entered. None of my family are entered. That's about it. You can enter if you're a business. I'm not going to stop you. That's up to you. That depending on where your ethics and morals lie. What you do with the stuff when I've given you it is your deal, not mine. So if you decide you want to use it for yourself, brilliant. Then that's brilliant. That's what it's aimed at. It's aimed at solo individual people. So when does it start? Now the anniversary of the first episode of the show. Let me give you the exact date. So let's go back to the show website. So for those of you who have just listened to the show and have never seen the website, this is the website, or rather this is the website for the show. Each of the episodes has a full page for show notes, right? And it's laid out in this kind of cool grid thing that I've come up with. It's pretty nice. Let me just scroll down to the bottom, and as you'll see, if you're able to see it with I've disabled my scroll bar, but if you view it with a scroll bar, you'll notice it's infinitely loading the content in. So it doesn't load all of this content all at once, which means that the page loads in less than a second for most people. So the episode I'm talking about, so you'll see if you look down, there's a whole bunch of stuff that is come up, right? There's what's this, there's teaser, there's zero. None of those are included in the 1 year anniversary. The date for the 1 year anniversary I'm basing on this episode 1, which was released on the 24th of August. So exactly 1 month from the date of recording this video. That worked out well, didn't it? But the competition itself starts on the 1st of August. If you've already done some of those things that I've mentioned, the rules that I mentioned, there'll be a transcript for this video in the, or a version of the transcript for this video, a TLDR if you will, for this video wherever I post it. If you've already done some of those things, connected with me on LinkedIn, connected with me on Twitter, join the mailing list, subscribe on YouTube, that kind of thing. If you've already done those, been a patron, whatever, then you've already been entered. I've already got your name in a file somewhere and I'm working through it. Now, GDPR, I will be scrubbing this file when it's done. This file will not leave this machine I'm recording on. This machine is local to me, it's in my house, and the folder it's in is not connected to any kind of NAS or drive or anything like that. When I've finished the competition, the file is being scrubbed. So you don't have to worry about your details being leaked or anything. But I'm not going to collect anything that's not kind of public information anyway. When you've done all of these things, you'll have to give me a preferred way to contact you. What I'm hoping for is that I can reach out to someone either on Twitter or LinkedIn, because those two places allow you to send messages and communicate with people. My DMs are always open, so you could always communicate with me. YouTube kind of allows you to send messages, but not brilliantly. Patreon lets you send messages. That's the last time I'm going to bring that up. But yes, from the 1st of August, any actions that you do, obviously if you unsubscribe from the newsletter and resubscribe, you're not going to get any more entries. Unfollow, refollow, all that kind of stuff, not going to get you any more. So don't be doing anything shady like that. I'm just going to change the camera angle slightly. There we go. So that won't get you any more entries. But what I will say is that once you've done all of those things, and when we hit the 24th of August, I'll run through the entries and get everyone and contact you directly via whichever method that you choose, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. And then once that's done, between the 24th and the 30th, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So between the 24th of August and 31st of August, I will reach out to you and say, hey, you've won. Here's your thing. Let me know when hey, you've won. let me know when you've got this message and we'll arrange sending you all the details. If someone doesn't get back to me within that 5 day, 6 day, 7 day window, I'll re-roll and let someone else have a chance at winning. So what I'm saying is, if you do all of these things, then definitely watch out in your Twitter and your LinkedIn for a message from me. If you don't receive a message, you haven't won. If you don't get back to me, you haven't won, someone else will. And yeah, so there's that 7 day period. It's about a week for you to get back to me and tell me that you would like me to send you the details. So that's essentially it. You know what to do, when it starts, when it ends. That's about it, really. Last thing I want to say is thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the show. Seriously, everyone who's listened, everyone who's subscribed, everyone who sent me a message, everyone who's left a rating or review, thank you ever so much. It means the world to me that you're all wanting to listen to this show. And for those of you who might be interested, we hit 68,000 individual downloads as of 10 minutes before I started this video. So that to me is amazing. 68,000 individual downloads for the show is magic. I couldn't have ever imagined anything like that. But I will leave you with what I usually sign off the podcast with, which is, don't forget to spread the word. Leave a rating or review on your podcatcher of choice for the show. Maybe even send me a tweet. Let me know what you're thinking of the show. .NET Core Show. It's on the screen. I'm going to point that way. I don't even see the screen now. I don't know whether I got that right. Yeah, keep your ears open for the next episode. So we're on 24th of July, which is a Wednesday. So Friday, the 25th, 26th of July, there's a new episode coming out with Pablo Santos that you'll all know of if you've heard the show already. He was on an earlier episode 26. Let me bring that up on here now. So let's just switch to the other screen. Whoops, like that. So if you've already subscribed to the show, you'll know Pablo because he's pointing at the wrong screen. But you'll know Pablo because he's already been on the show talking about plastic SCM. We're talking to Pablo. We're also talking to Phil Hack of Hacked LLC, of GitHub, of Microsoft. If you've heard of NuGet, he kind of created that. So he's a bit of a big deal. So definitely keep an eye open for those. Have a look through the source code for this template. Have a look through the source code for the Raffle ID generator. You'll be able to see how I'm going to run this. But anyway, there's that. That's the end of the video. So I'll see you all real soon. See you later, folks.